What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. Today's video, we're going to be talking to you about the top storylines heading into training camp for every team in the AFC South. All that and much more coming your way right now! All right, Nick, training camp is officially underway this week, and we have some major storylines for all of these teams in the AFC South, talking about the Texans, the Titans, the Jaguars, the Colts. And honestly, we're in the midst of a really tumultuous offseason for this division specifically. We're talking about a lot of new faces, a lot of new places, interesting storylines off the field. Let's just dive right into it. So, starting off with obviously the biggest storyline of the NFL offseason, Deshaun Watson making headlines from day one. Obviously, if you want to hear more about what he's going through, we have our video talking about that just came out a couple days ago. Go take a look at that. Deshaun Watson facing 22 civil lawsuits and 10 criminal lawsuits. He's got a whole mess of legal issues on his hands. And now it seems like, he is at training camp and he's participating. But the question remains, does Deshaun Watson even get a snap this season?
Point blank, no, he does not. Deshaun Watson will remain on the sidelines if he's even allowed at the facility. It seems like the Houston Texans don't want him being their starting quarterback while he's going through this ordeal. In fact, they have him practicing with the scout team at training camp. He is not taking first team reps. He's not taking second team reps. He is with the bottom of the barrel guys on the roster, and he's going to continue to work with those guys while he is going through the system in civil court, in criminal court. He is not going to be expected to play at all this season, and the Houston Texans front office is making sure that by not giving him any reps with the new teammates he has acquired this offseason. They also expect that he might be traded at some point. So why let him steal some of the reps from Tyrod Taylor, from Davis Mills, to then trade away a guy who has all that knowledge? It just wouldn't make sense. So you're going to make sure you're giving your guys that you know will be there this season all the reps possible to get this team in as good a playing condition as possible. Deshaun Watson, whether he's on this team or not, he won't be playing in the NFL. I don't care if he's at practice or not. The NFL will be coming down with a punishment at some point. We just don't know when. Deshaun Watson, he can continue this game where he wants to pretend like nothing's going on, but he's got to face facts, and he's going to be dealing with this for the next while. So he might as well buckle in and try to just enjoy the time he has on the field now, because it's going to be a long time before he gets a snap in the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Caserio, the new general manager for the Houston Texans, is no dummy. He understands how all of this works. He understands that there's a process with the NFL, and he understands that Roger Goodell usually comes down with that big hammer of justice, that he likes to serve. So at the end of the day, he understands that he's got to get the quarterbacks that are guaranteed to be there, Tyrod Taylor, Davis Mills, they've got to get up and going with this playbook. They got to get going with their teammates and really focus on the reps that they have at hand. Deshaun Watson, as much as I'd love to see him on the field, I just don't see it in his future. And I believe that prior to, the start of the season, we will find out exactly what's going to happen. My prediction is that he ends up on the NFL's commissioner exempt list, and he will not be able to take a snap come the regular season. All right, moving over to the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts made some splashy headlines this offseason as they reunited quarterback Carson Wentz with his old offensive coordinator from Philadelphia, Frank Reich, the current head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. And Carson Wentz had arguably his best seasons under Frank Reich in Philadelphia, and after that, everything kind of went downhill. The two of them together really ignites a lot of flames for the Colts fans, the Colts fan base, and all of the players on this roster. So the question remains, will Carson Wentz become a glimmer of what he was in 2017? Can he become that same guy, or is he going to be the guy that we saw toward the end of his time in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I don't know exactly which version of Carson Wentz we're getting, but I know it's going to be a fairly decent one. In fact, it's going to be much better than anything we saw from Carson Wentz over the last 2 years, because Carson Wentz without Frank Reich was an absolute train wreck. He did not play the same. He did not look good. He didn't nothing clicked. It really didn't. Nothing was going good for him. And so, him back with Frank Reich, that is the secret recipe. That is exactly what Carson Wentz needs to be successful. So, will he be the MVP level Carson Wentz? No, probably not right off the bat. That's going to take some time to get accustomed to this new system, to his new teammates. It's but him being back in the system, that is the most important part. He knows the playbook. He knows how Frank Reich calls plays. He's going to fit well, and as we progress through the season, he's going to look better and better. I like Carson Wentz back in the system. He's going to put himself back on that Hall of Fame path. I believe that Carson Wentz is really going to take command of this new starting job, and him being in Indianapolis with all these great weapons and a great defense, it's just exactly what he needs after everything that went wrong in Philadelphia.
I don't think Carson Wentz was ever really on a Hall of Fame path, so I'll stop you there. But at the end of the day, I do think he's going to show us shades of what he was in 2017. I think the biggest issue is he has to get out of his own head with the injuries. I think he has to just kind of relax and play football once again. He's got to get over the fact that he's going to take hits. And even though he's behind a much improved offensive line than he had in Philadelphia, the fact remains that every quarterback gets hit once in a while, and he's going to have to deal with that. So get out of your head, just play football, go back to the game that you love, and everything else is going to come to you. I'm excited to see what he can do in training camp, and he gets a playbook where he understands the rhythm, the cadence, all of the terminology. I'm really excited for what Carson Wentz can do. I hope he can get back to his 2017 self. All right, moving forward, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars, just one of those teams that gets you a little bit excited. They have a brand new head coach in Urban Meyer, brand new quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, completely revamped system, both offensively and defensively. The whole front office has really shaken things up a bit. And at the end of the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in one of the best positions moving forward to build a stellar franchise. I mean, they have some of the best pieces in the right spots. So taking a look at this team, the question is, how will Urban Meyer transition to coaching from the NFL versus college?
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the recent history of the NFL with college coaches entering the NFL, Cliff Kingsbury has done amazing things with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. We look at Matt Rule last year and the improvements that he made coming off of a Ron Rivera led Carolina Panthers. It was impressive to see the improvements that he made in 1 year, especially going through a COVID ridden season. That was very good. Urban Meyer is better than both those guys combined. Urban Meyer has an elite legacy coming out of college football, and that is going to transition extremely well into the NFL. It's going to be similar to Nick Saban when he came out of college to be the head coach for the Miami Dolphins. Right out of the gate, he made the Miami Dolphins an 8-8 team, which at the time was fantastic. Urban Meyer can do the same thing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. To take a team from 1-win season and give them 8 wins the next year, that's exactly what I expect from Urban Meyer. I fully expect him to make the Jacksonville Jaguars a very competitive team, and he's going to develop all these young talent into elite players in no time. I fully believe in Urban Meyer. I believe that all the bad press overshadows Urban Meyer's accolades that he's accumulated in college football. He's one of the best football minds we have in the game, and that at the NFL level is going to be on display.
Yeah, I mean, Urban Meyer definitely has a checkered past off the field, or not necessarily about his coaching, but when you take a look strictly at how he coaches these players, he gets the best out of every single player that he's ever really coached. And taking a look at some of the teams that he's had, whether it was at Ohio State or at the University of Florida, I mean, he's really just dug deep and gotten the best out of every single talented player he had. And when you're taking a look at this Jacksonville Jaguars team, they're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. So I'd have to imagine that he can continue to relate to these guys like he did back when they were in college. They're going to run a similar system like they did in college. And I believe at the end of the day, Urban Meyer, he has forgotten more football and more coaching aspects than we will ever learn in our lifetime. So Urban Meyer is just one of those guys that I can hang my hat on and trust that he is going to get this team right. And I fully expect them to be one of the biggest firecrackers the NFL has this season. Moving forward to the final team in the AFC South, definitely not the least, it is the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans made some very flashy headlines recently because they signed some guy. What was his name? I don't know. Like John or oh, that's right, Julio Jones. Julio Jones comes traded from the Atlanta Falcons, absolutely dominates headlines. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and if you don't believe us, go check out our video where we took a look at his career catches because holy hell, that man can do so much. Now they have Julio Jones paired up with AJ Brown. So when we were looking at the Tennessee Titans just a couple of weeks ago, we were saying they lost Corey Davis, they lost Jonnu Smith. It's going to be very tough for this offense to continue on with the legacy that they want to provide. Now you have Julio Jones. That has changed the game completely. So the question remains, is Julio Jones the missing piece to get the Titans over the hump and into the Super Bowl conversation?
The Tennessee Titans offense is one of the best offenses in the NFL right now. And there's no denying that for anybody. I don't care who you are. However, this Tennessee Titans defense is what's holding the team back from a Super Bowl run, even a playoff run, in my opinion. Julio Jones, he's a great addition to this team, especially in the wake of losing Corey Davis. A massive step above Corey Davis, and it's only going to improve A.J. Brown's game as well because there's less pressure on him, and he's going to have more opportunities to make big plays. Derrick Henry's going to have more opportunities to make big plays. This entire offense is going to be spectacular, but I just don't believe that the Tennessee Titans defense is anywhere near comparable to their offensive counterpart. I don't think that this defense will be able to carry their weight. It's very similar to last year's Dallas Cowboys, where the offense was super explosive, but the defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. I just don't think the Tennessee Titans are ready to fully compete for a Super Bowl. I just think teams like the Chiefs and the Bills are going to be too big for them to handle, even teams like the Cleveland Browns as well. I just don't think that they really stand a chance against other teams in this conference.
Yeah, it's really tough because I like the Tennessee Titans. I like where they've gone and what they've done to replace some of the talent, but you're right. I think the defense is extremely young and they just don't have the wherewithal to know how to really get over that hump. You talking about Jayon Brown being one of the most senior level players on this defense, and that guy is still on his rookie contract. I mean, we're talking about a guy that hasn't been in the league 5 years. So at the end of the day, I really like what the Titans did on offense. The Julio Jones move was absolutely incredible. But this defense really scares me, and I need to see a lot come out of this team. Maybe they can rely strictly on their talent. That would be absolutely incredible. But I have to see it before I can truly believe that they can make a Super Bowl run. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.